Alright, Hero fans, now it's on to swapping the loincloth. So the wrist cuffs are done, the head's done, the legs are done. Now the loincloth. So we need to get this loincloth from the 2000X figure onto this figure here. So first thing, I got some heated water. I'm going to take this loincloth off. And to get this one off, you have to destroy the figure. So here's what you do. You grab your figure in the middle, just like this, and you just snap them. And there it is. That's the way you get that loincloth off. I know this poor Skeletor has gone through so much. Now, one thing we could have done, which I really did contemplate, was using actually these legs for our lower legs. We could have carefully cut out a pie, created some, sanded some spots to make some rounded areas to make joints, and then cut this off here and do the same thing on the bottom. Would have been a lot of effort, but we could have done it. But I just kind of wanted to go with, making sure I have enough parts that are still classics. I'm going to go ahead and put them away. So let's go ahead and start prepping this. So let's get this hot. And my goal is to cut around this. And because it's thin rubber, it does heat up pretty quick. And make it so it's flush on the inside. So let's start with our scissors here. And we'll just cut around. Cut around town. And just be careful not to cut anywhere beyond that flat little piece across the top. Alright, so you can see how close it is. I still got a lot of ways to go. So the rest I'm just going to sand off. So I got my Dremel tool here, which I do suggest if you don't have one, do buy one. It comes in very handy. As you can see, I use it a lot for a lot of different projects. And basically, we're just going to sand this from the top down to free that loincloth. Make sure when you sand this, it's always straight down. You don't want to go at an angle, especially as you get towards the end of it. Otherwise, you'll end up having it so it will not fit right on the figure. Pull off any excess. Do any final touch-up sandings. And just like with the wrist cuffs, you want it as smooth as possible on the inside. That looks pretty good. There we go. Now we got our Skeletor built, if you will. Now if I was just to put this on the figure the way it was, it would have been so far sucked in on the sides, it looked like he had some kind of problem around his waist where he was sucked in really tight. So let's go ahead and get this loincloth off. So we can put on the other one. Now, I could just put this over the top of this one. Because of this bump right here, it's going to look really strange. So, now, I already have a video on how to take loincloths off, so you may have already seen this, but let's go ahead and take this one off anyway. So first you want to do is just kind of pull around a little bit, and this will kind of loosen it as you take it around. After you make sure it's loosened all the way around, you want to rotate the waist so that it's in the front, and you're looking for an opening right inside there, if you can see that or not, and you're going to stick your screwdriver right in there. Before we start, let's make sure it's super hot. And just put our screwdriver right there and start working around. Now it may start to cool on you, and this does happen quite often when I'm doing this. Just stick it back in the water, get it hot again. You don't want to force stretch this, otherwise you can't reuse it on another action figure. So you want to keep everything nice and toasty warm. All right. And there we go. Now it's off. So the cool part is now I have this and the armor from the original figure I can use on another custom some other day. So that's really handy to have leftover parts, because it's always good to have stuff that you can make cool other customs out of, or maybe even add to a different Skeletor. So again, I'm going to show you how this will look if I put this on, so you can just see how it just does not fit right. Because a lot of customizers that put this on just the way it is. And being already sanded around, it won't be too bad. But the problem is it's just so tight on the figure that it looks like they're wearing a super tight, something that's cutting off the circulation in a midsection. And it just does not fit right. So you can see it looks like he has a muffin top almost, where it sticks out further than the loincloth. So to fix this problem, you have to put on a different loincloth. Now I got this one, and I don't really know which character it came from, but the way this works is the wide side's on this side. So rotate it so you got the wide side on this side. It's got the big side on this side as well, and the small side. Stick it in the hot water, let it get really hot. And I wanted to go with a dark color. That way, if any parts stick out, it won't be too obvious. And again, because the loincloth is such thin material, it does heat up very quickly. Stick it on at that point, then take your screwdriver and just pull it out and line up that flange. And again, make sure it doesn't cool on you, because if it does, you have to reheat it. The tricky part is to get that flange to unbend. So a lot of times it will take and bend towards the top, and then you'll have this bent area. Alright, looks like Skeletor has his underpants on, ready to go. There we go. So now let's put these on. Get them nice and hot. Now this part's tricky, because now we got to force that on over the top of the other shorts. And it's got a long ways to stretch, so just be patient. Keep reheating it, work it slow. You may have to take it off and on a couple times. This always reminds me of trying to dress my daughter's Polly Pockets when she was little. Those thin little rubber clothes just sometimes just did not work very well. All right. Now, unfortunately, when I stuck this on, it kind of twisted on me, so I got to work it around and try to move it back to the front. Almost there. One more time around should do it. Nope. Have to go around again, it looks like. So close. There we go. Hooray. Everything lines up. We got his loincloth on. And it's not cutting his waist in too far. That looks pretty good. Just scoot that up a little bit. Alright. My next video will be assembling all the parts. So that one wasn't too painful compared to my other videos. You guys, thanks for watching. And next video should be me completing him. Hopefully.